tens of thousands of years ago, the native tribes practiced their magic and their healing in the forests and the jungles across the world. They used traditional methods passed down in the family for hundreds of years. These people were gifted in healing and divining. I practice both. I'm going to show you maybe a simple method where a gifted person would pick a piece of timber, a piece of forked twig like this, and they would just take the leaves away and use this as a divining rod. This method has been used in Ireland for thousands of years as well, to find water and find the exact depth of water. And there are hundreds of people in Ireland today that can use this method. I am one of those. And so just to give you a brief introduction to this, what happens is, if we're looking for water, you will find that the dowser, as we call them, would walk along like this, and when the water would be detected, this will go down like this. Try it yourself sometime. These methods and others can be used for divining illness. The ancients used this, again, tens of thousands of years ago, and they used it in certain countries and certain primitive countries today. Maybe they're more advanced in their primitive methods than we are in our science. And so, if we look at the body, for example, the ancients would feel the resonance of an organ that had malfunctioned, for example, a diseased organ. And the vibrations from that diseased organ will manifest itself in the aura and in the etheric field. These methods were used again in India, China, Tibet, South America, right across the world. We in modern times think that we know everything about divining and about healing, when in fact tens of thousands of years ago all this was practiced in primitive society. For example, if there's a problem or a malfunction, as I said before, in a certain part of the body, the resonance and the vibrations of that malfunction will again manifest itself and can be picked up in the person's aura. I'm very, very sure that the same type of methods can be used and are being used scientifically, like magnetic resonance, MRIs, scans. This is a machine picking up the resonance and the malfunctions of an organ. Humans can do the same, and I am one of those. But there are thousands of others that can do all this work as well. And this is merely an introduction to a series of videos that I'd like to do over the next number of months, and we'll deal with different aspects of healing and divining, and hopefully we'll be able to give a simple explanation as to the nature and as to the work done by healers. Everyone can't do this, but not everyone can paint a masterpiece. And so my work, which some people say may be New Age, they haven't got a clue what they're talking about. These practices were used tens and hundreds of thousands of years ago, so how can that be New Age? And we look at the herbs used by the healers in the Far East and in different parts of the world. And if you look at this tree here, this is an oak, the king of the jungle. On that oak grows a parasite called mistletoe. It can grow on other trees as well, of course, but the Druids used the mistletoe to treat certain illness at the time. Hopefully successfully, but they treated tumours and what have you with the parasite that grows on the oak. They use these methods in holistic treatment right across the world today, of course, in perhaps India, Switzerland, and many, many other countries. The herbs, of course, that grow naturally in the woods were of great importance to the healers of the time. You know, we look at the dandelion, we mentioned the mistletoe, we look at the nettles, all the different flowers that were used for medicinal purposes. They were used with success because the healer at the time would divine the type of herb that would be suitable to cure a certain disease. For example, they used the dandelion to help with kidney problems, to open the liver and the spleen. They used nettle for iron, and of course the catalyst of vitamin C, together with the catalyst vitamin C. We have here the birch, silver birch. This was used medicinally as well, together with the ivies and all the hundreds of other herbs that grow naturally in the woods. We don't necessarily want you trying out those herbs yourself. You must have knowledge about and how to use all these different herbs. They also used certain herbs as a poultice to draw out different types of infection. Externally, of course. And so history tells us that perhaps over the years that all this is hocus pocus. It doesn't work. Well, actually it does. If you look at Ayurvedic medicine, where the doctors in India would use different forms of herbs, use natural healing as I've outlined it basically, and be able to make an exact diagnosis of a situation even without the use of modern equipment like scans and MRIs and whatever. I'm not knocking, obviously, the use of science. I'm just pointing out the alternatives that were used successfully tens and tens of thousands of years ago. So maybe this short series is an introduction again, as I said, to many others, hopefully, that we would like to carry out over perhaps the next number of months. Maybe you would think that we could be in any part of the world, in a forest, in a jungle, but we're not necessarily that far away. Well, maybe we should finish this little talk for now, and we'll be perhaps continuing on a different subject perhaps next time, in a few weeks or whatever. We have a very, very, very busy schedule. We have hundreds, maybe 1,000 videos up there on my site, MatthewLennonHealer.com. And if you want to view some of those, you will see some very unusual healings. You will perhaps see a young boy who had a serious accident and was in a lot of pain and was wearing a brace, and the medics told him that 2 years, it would take 2 years for recovery. When I put my hands on this young boy, within 5 minutes he was running up and down the floor at one of our clinics in Navan. So view our videos, have a look guys, see what you think, and we thank you for listening and for your interest, and we want to thank you for all the testimonials and all the help that we get from a lot of people all over. And my hope is that you will be one of those who can get benefit from the work we do.